about what they're doing, and some are not, because things like the secretary doesn't have to set up goals for himself. He just needs to show up and make sure that he does all the proper notes and things like that. But I will introduce But I want to thank the board members for stepping up to the plate. We have a phenomenal board this year. Many of them have come back to us from last year, and they said they wanted to get it right this year, but I thought it was all right last year. So to start out with, we have our president-elect, Jeffrey Goodwin, is going to chat with us about what sort of things he's doing to get ready for next year for his term.
Thank you very much, President Stan. A couple of things. I will be enrolling myself in the Rotary Academy and be going through that process. I think that's a good educational experience. And then we have pre-pets coming up January 28th, and I have gotten the information on that. And then, no, I'm sorry, January 28th. And then pets, March 9th through 11th. And so I'm preparing myself to be able to take over next year, and in the next 4 months or so, be contacting folks and setting boards up. So everything is well underway and moving forward for next year as well.
Thanks very much, Jeffrey. PETS is President-elect Training, for those of you who aren't aware of it. And it's, frankly, it's world class. It is just an amazing training that the presidents go through. It's a 2-day program for actual pets and a 1-day program for pre-pets. And it just, the manual and everything are just really set you up for a very smooth year. I'd also like to bring Don Andrews up, who is our vice president. Is he here? Oh no, I forgot. Don is not here today. He was not able to make it. Don will be in charge of our rummage sale. And so next year, he's going to be heading the rummage sale up as vice president. Right after that, he goes into president-elect in July. Andrew Ballard, would you like to say a few words about how nice it is not to have to be president anymore? No, you're good. Okay. Now, they said that it was a man of a few words once he got the mic out of his hand, so. Lalo, do you have anything that you would like to add? Lalo is our secretary. Would you like to?
I don't have much to say except that it's a very interesting experience. It's a little bit hard because I wasn't involved in things such as this in the previous life. My previous life was as a physician, so this is good for me. Thank you.
Talk about a learning experience, going from being a physician to this club secretary, and also Lolo is learning. He's picking up on the computer, and that's something that his skills were a little lacking on, and he's done a phenomenal job. He's a very fast learner, evidently. Dan, I'd like you to come up if you wouldn't mind and talk to us. Okay, each button will give you a different.
I hope it works.
Yep.
You hear me? I had my first attempt here at PowerPoint, referring to people who still have. I do still have my hair, but I haven't really fiddled with it much, so we'll see if this works. I'm half skeptical. Anyway, I am your treasurer. That button right there. Okay. Oh. Early. Anyway, so the treasurer, the money. How much fun is that, huh? Well, the fun part of the money is finding out, who you're going to give it to and handing out the checks. That's not my job. My job is to worry about the money, keep track of the money. Sort of like, I'm used to that sort of role because that's what I do at home. I keep track of the money and worry about it, and Paula spends it. So, anyway, don't tell her I said that. Anyway, what I prepared today was just sort of a more or less a list of what my responsibilities, at least as I see them. So I don't have any great grandiose goals for the year necessarily, other than one. So, first of all, I guess the first thing, the responsibility is to help prepare the budget each year. And in the club, we have sort of two sides of the club. We have the what's called club operations. We refer to as club operations, and then service projects. And club operations, just like it sounds, are sort of all the activities involved in running the club. Getting the facility here, the lunches, operating the office, paper, pens, you get the general idea, but it's just operating the club. And then the other side, the service projects, is really our outreach to the community. The local community, national and international. I've marked on there amounts for each of the budgets that we have. We've actually done quite a bit of work on the club operations budget, and it's pretty well dialed in. That amount there is pretty much funded by your club dues as well as what we pay for lunches. On the service projects, that aspect, we're still working on that budget right now. We're waiting to find out what we get out of the rummage sale, and we'll know what we have to work with. I put down $24,000 there. It's going to be pretty close. It's close to what we had last year. That's funded by the golf tournament, the rummage sale proceeds that I just mentioned, and then lastly, there's a sort of an internal transfer for scholarship funds that goes into that also. I guess the next major area that I have that I feel is my responsibility is to help ensure that we have reasonable procedures in place. Why, you may ask, to protect the financial assets of the club, and secondly, to provide for an accurate reflection of the club's financial condition and performance. And towards that end, every month, my other responsibility that I do, I present the financial statements to the board. And what I'm pretty much doing there, rather than go through every item, is we're really looking for major changes or any possible trends that are transpiring to see if we need to make adjustments along the way. Those are really the pretty major areas. The one goal or thing I'd like to do this year is I put down there fund accounting, and I'd like to work our way on what I call work our way on the spectrum towards fund accounting. It's really the standard by which most nonprofits report their financial statements is through fund accounting. And what it is it really divides the accounting along our activity lines, which in our case, as I mentioned above, is the club operations and the service projects. And I say work our way along the spectrum. We're already reasonably well on the way. D already separates out our revenues and expenses according to those different activity lines. And then when I get the information, I transfer it into actually two separate income statements, but there's still some things that we can do to really smooth that out and complete the process, and I guess make it quicker. And hopefully we can get that done this year. That's pretty much it.
Thank you, Dan, very much. And Barbara said that she was very shy and didn't want to stand up and talk about the membership, but she is the membership chair and has done a phenomenal job about it. So I will go ahead and tell you that we will be wanting to increase members by a net 5. We're going to be working with Public Relations Committee to create a positive club image and attract prospective and current members alike, and make sure that we keep everybody happy. Decrease the resignation to 10% or below. Support and encourage those who are not attending through, Barbara has put together a search and rescue team that several of you are involved in. We want to add 15 new members, and we want to educate and encourage all current members to identify and invite prospective members to the club. And so with that, it's I've got one big challenge. and that is to the board. Each board member, I want to challenge you to bring one new member in this year. And that will do wonders for the club, and I also challenge each one of you. Just think about it. Think about how Rotary has changed your life. Think about how Rotary has changed the lives of so many. And there's other people out there, friends of yours, people that are acquaintances, business people, that you know that you've just never asked. So ask. Have them come to a meeting. And if they enjoy it, great. If they don't, they've got had a free meal. Vicki also wanted me to go ahead and just make mention. She would like to have, she is the Rotary Foundation Chair. Rotary International has a foundation. It feeds into the Paul Harris Award, and it is her goal this year is to raise $100 per member. Just for those who are going towards Paul Harris Fellowship, we'd love to have more. But our goal is 100% participation in raising funds for the Rotary International Foundation. That goes to Polio Plus. That goes also for scholarships. I know I've said this before, but if any beauty queen will tell you that they want to have world peace, and Rotary is up to it, and they have scholarships for people who will bring world peace to the world. So that's all part of the Rotary International Foundation. Vicki is chairing that, and $100 is what? $10, $5 a week. Go over. I'd like to have Lisa come up and talk about what's all of the things that she's got going on.
Hello. Whereas Dan gets to worry about the money, I get to spend it. So I'm excited about that. Our first event, as you can see, would be coming up is the Boys and Girls Club event. So I'll be working with Mike. I just pointed at him and said, I need to talk to you. So I'm going to be working with him. And so at that event, in the past, we've done the carnival. Last year, there was a need for scholarships. There probably will be a need again because the economy is doing what it's doing. So, but we do a pizza and ice cream, and we are there with the kids, and we would love volunteers for that day. So if you are able to make it, we don't have a day set yet, but as soon as we do, I'll let you know. But having the Rotarians there to help serve the pizza and the ice cream is fun. It's a good way to interact with the kids and let them know that we're, caring about them. The back to school fair is something that we did last year as well. It was kind of an emergency at that time. They needed some extra funds for the backpack program that they do. And this year we're going to do the same thing. We're going to give them a little bit more money, but I would also like to donate school supplies. So since those are coming up in the next month, you'll be seeing sales at your different office supply stores. If you happen to go in there, grab something extra and bring it to the meeting and give it to me, and I'll take it to them. The golf tournament, which Gary Diner runs, is coming up in September, and I will let him talk to you about that over the next few weeks. Operation Warm and Ready is one of our most heartwarming events, and I think it's a great event for new members. So Pamela and Famous, if you can join us at that, it's a really great event. We partner with many different organizations in the community, and we give out coats and mittens and scarves to children that don't have any. And the look on their faces when they get a brand new coat is absolutely amazing, because some of them have never had a brand new coat. And as you've heard in the past, one of the little boys that got a coat with a Nike swoosh was like jazzed. So we love to see that, and we'll be doing that again. And so about a dozen of us or more go to that, and there is a committee chair needed to go out and procure the coats and all of the donations. We do have a budget, so we do purchase brand new items. So that is something that you can see me about as well. The November project is the Edna School District project. We've done dictionaries in the past. Last year we did the WOW program at College Place. I'm always looking and I'm always getting information sent to me on different programs, and I usually take those to the board. But if you hear of anything that is within the school district and that you think is a worthy project, please let me know. December, we didn't do the Santa breakfast, but we had some questions about it. So if we can get a sponsorship for it, I would like to see it come back if anyone's interested in talking to me about that. But we would have to have full sponsorship for it. I have Santa's number, so I can give him a call to get him booked for our event if we want to do that. So I would like your information and input on that. The Boy Scout troop, I forgot to put the Cub Scouts on there too, but we're going to have them come and present a little bit more during the year. I just put January, but we want more than just once a year to come and tell us what they're doing. And then in February and March, we have other projects that are going on, but nothing as determined right now. April is always Rotarians at Work Day. Last year we did a project at the Pathways for Women. We helped them rebuild their shed roof and floor. It was a good day. It was a lot of fun. Rotarians drove through and dropped off donations, and we filled it with food. And we gave work clothing so the women could do interviews, and so that was a really great day and good project. In May, we have the Youth Challenge Awards, of course. Mike and Vicki are always in charge of that, so I just have to sit back and watch that well-oiled machine. And in June, because we have our scholarships money this year, I'm really looking forward to being able to have a nice presentation day and see if we can't get the winners to come and us to give them nice gifts for their continued education. We have 4 Fifth Thursdays this year. One of them is already booked. The Workforce Development Center, which is in Mukilteo. They came to our rummage sale and they took a lot of our extra stuff because they're raising money. But they do a great service in the schools, training the at-risk children, teenagers, and teaching them the aerospace industry, manufacturing. And they are at a place in their business where they have done so well that the products that they're creating actually go onto the airplanes. They don't have to go to the mock jobs. They're actually quality controlled to a point where when you take a plane, part of the products are coming from the teenagers that have made them. And so there's a very huge sense of pride. So we're going to do one of the Fifth Thursdays for them because they're trying to raise money this year. And then I have 3 others. So I do get suggestions for that. So please let me know if you come up with an organization or nonprofit that is in need, and we would like to give our happy bucks on those Thursday nights. So if you have any other questions or input on any of the projects and things that we can do this year, you can always call me or email me. And then I always love volunteers. So the committee chairs will need to put their committees together, and we'll get the year going and spend some good money in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa. Boy, talk about a busy club. This is just so incredible. I just love it. Our international chair this year is Nicola Smith, and her international committee, their goal for 2011 is to revisit all the past international projects around the world and reconnect and get updates with our partnering clubs. As you know, Nicola has been very actively involved in international projects for several years, and we just, it's not a board position, but I do want to put it up as she also is looking for committee people who are interested in those international projects. And club administration, I'd like to have Kim come up and just give a real quick discussion of what the heck she does, because she does a lot of stuff.
This is my 3rd year as a club administrator, and I'm sure I'm still clueless. I do whatever Stan, Andrew, and Teresa needed. So I do the facilities, lunches, coordinate the introductions, the parties, just anything they want. Their wish is pretty much my command. So, yeah.
And she just does a phenomenal job of it. It's just absolutely amazes me that you don't have to worry. It's just done. And Andrew told me that. He says, don't worry, Kim will get it squared away and it'll just be done. And I think that Teresa also told Andrew the same thing. It just is. It just shazam, you walk in at my induction program. I walked in, I thought, I'm going to get there about 45 minutes early just so that I got everything set up and, can help. And I walked in, it was done. And I just thank you very much. Public Relations Chair, I want to tell you a little story about Jim. He came up to me at the, when we had our /advance, and he says, you got a PR slot open, and I said, I do, and he said, I'd like to take that. Within 24 hours, I'm going to have him tell you all of the things that we were across the internet, and our name was splashed all over the world, and within 24 hours, this guy is the PR extraordinaire.
Well, you thought you were off the hook, but I've got more slides than anybody else. So buckle down. So I want to talk about three things. I want to talk to you a little bit. Once I did take the position from Stan, one of the things that Rotary suggests is that we have a communication plan. And so I identified 3 different groups of people that we outreach to, and I want to explain to you who my target audiences are in PR, and let you know about that. Let you know about some of the mechanisms that we use to reach out to them. I want to talk to you about some other initiatives that I have going, and then finally I want to end with a few challenges and see if you can help me out. There we go. So we have 3 target audiences, and to me the most important one is the group here. So we have a lot going on. We have a lot of different arms. I want to make sure that everybody here understands exactly what's happening, and that you're getting that information in a way that's useful to you. We have a wide diaspora of age and experience, and it's important to me that that nobody gets left behind. So if we're not reaching somebody with the newsletter or with something else, I want to make sure that you understand everything that's going on. And just a point about the newsletter, Barbara Earl has been giving me a lot of credit for that newsletter, and it was her idea and Andrew's idea to change that newsletter and make it a little bit more user friendly, and I think it's been fantastic. So I appreciate that. The Greater Lynnwood community is another group that we'll reach out to. It's obviously very, very important that the people of Lynnwood understand exactly what we're doing for them. Although we're selfless, we want them to understand what we're doing for them. We want them to understand what Rotary is and how it's impacting their community. And finally, prospective members. So obviously that's the lifeblood of our organization. You've seen Barbara's goals for the year and Stan's goals for the years, and that it relies on prospective members and how we communicate to them. Oops. Now, how we're reaching our audience, we're doing that in a variety of ways. I have to give credit to Stan. So when I did take the job, one of Stan's big ideas is to get us into the social media. So the Facebooks and all that. And we had a Facebook page. Paul Richards has taken that over. What I did here is I tried to map out a little bit about some of the different initiatives that we're taking and where I see that. Where the groups that I see that working with. So Club Runner primarily with the newsletters and all that, that's for the club membership. So we're trying to communicate that out. And a little bit of that is going to be tweaking the website so it's a little bit more user-friendly for prospective members. For the most part, we've got Club Runner there, local print and blog media. So we've gotten a lot of coverage in the local media, and I think that you can expect that to continue. Facebook has more to do with the current membership and maybe a little bit more of the community, whereas LinkedIn, we have some, if you're familiar with LinkedIn, a lot of people are, that's kind of they call that a digital business card. And so having a presence there, the way that I foresee it, has more to do with our visibility to prospective business members, so people in the community coming to Lynnwood Rotary. And there are other things that we'll do. I won't harp on that. But the one thing that I did want to say is we started a Twitter account as soon as Stan told me we needed to get into social media. There are 10 million Twitter accounts in the world, and we are in the top 8% of Twitter accounts in the world, which is pretty phenomenal. And the intention of that is really to increase our reach and be able to tell the community what we're doing. So other initiatives that we have going on, kind of born out of the advance, really trying to focus on on businesses. So Alderwood Terrace has a great program where they just have a business directory that's linked to their website. And you've heard me talk a little bit about Yelp. What I want to do is I want to start doing some seminars. We have some knowledge. We have a knowledge base here in the club, and I think we have to use that for our benefit. So not so that we're selling things at the club, because nobody wants that, but really taking advantage of some small things, like, for instance, Google Places, Yelp, ways that we can increase the visibility of people in the club, and that's an initiative that I'm taking. And right now, we've got a clarification letter in RI to make sure that we're not violating the bylaws of RI by doing this, but this is a district-wide initiative as well. I mean, the district really wants to change the perception of Rotary and make sure that people understand that that we have stringent requirements for Rotarians in terms of your business, the way that you ethically do it. But we ought to communicate that to people, that these are businesses that have those ethical, that stand by those ethical standards. We'll continue to optimize the website for conversion. What we mean by conversion, that's a big marketing term. We can get people's attention. What we really want them to do is take action. And so you may see some tweaks when we're working with Barbara and to make that website very, very advantageous for potential members to come. And then a really exciting aspect of public relations and new generations is the Road Ramp program, and that's one of Stan's initiatives as well. Shiloh Lockett is actually going to be the chairperson for that, and I had an opportunity to meet with her last week. She was involved in a lot of volunteer organizations when she was in college, and she has just an incredible energy behind this. She has incredible vision for it. I mean, so it's going to be much different than kind of your typical Rotary club. So it's going to be much more informal, meet after hours. She's got some venues that she has in mind in Edmonds, and we've got some groups that we want to recruit. So that's something to be really, really excited about in terms of an ancillary organization to our organization. And Famous must have left, but boy, he needs to be on that group being tied into Central Washington University. So finally, I have some challenges. So we are involved in Facebook. I mentioned that Paul Richard has done a phenomenal job of moderating our Facebook page. But one of the things about social media is that it's a participatory function. It's a hub for conversation. It's not necessarily a monologue or see what Jim put there, what kind of article he put there on a daily basis. It's really about having a conversation. And the benefit of that is when you're interacting with our Facebook page or with our LinkedIn page, all of the contacts that you have are seeing that you're interacting with our club, and that changes the perception of our club. And so what I'd ask you to do is maybe take a little bit of time, once or twice a week, and post something on a Rotary board, or post a comment, or just like something on our Rotary Facebook page, or join our LinkedIn group. I joked on the page, and probably nobody heard it, but Lisa joined the group a couple days ago, and so that increased our membership on the LinkedIn group by 20% because there's only 6 of us there. But these are all, being in social media is not enough. It's really about how you're participating and how the people that are connected to you understand that you're a member of Lynnwood Rotary and what you're doing. And that ties into the second piece. Who do people perceive us to be as Rotarians, and what do people perceive the Rotary to be? Andrew wrote an entire book about it, talking about what you know about Rotary doesn't mean anything. What matters is the people that don't know anything about Rotary. What do they think about Rotary, and how can you change their perception? And well, he didn't write it specifically about Rotary, but I think he wrote it about customers. And it's the same thing. I posted this on LinkedIn on the Rotary International group, and they talked about, and the responses that I got were, Rotarians are rich. Rotarians are old. Rotarians are just a bunch of cigar-smoking, Scotch-drinking people. So there are a lot of perceptions out there, and we have to realize that, particularly when we're talking about increasing the membership of our club. How do people perceive us, and how can we change that perception? And one of the ways that we can do that is by showing our involvement and really having a conversation about it. And that ties into the last part, which is, are we relying on computers to do something that humans can do? So all of these initiatives are great, being on Facebook and all that. But I can tell you from dealing with customers and marketing is we have unrealistic expectations about what that computer is going to do for us, because commerce is based on relationship. And so the computer can get you some attention, but really it's the interaction that you have with people. It's changing their perceptions. It's talking to them that's going to get them into our club. That's going to make them a member of our club. That's going to make them a participant in the community. And so that's what I strive to do, and those are challenges that I pose to you. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Right, thanks. Another member of our board is Tom Sayre, and we heard from Tom last week, and so and he's with the Lynnwood Rotary Community Foundation chair, and they have lots of scholarship money now, and so we're going to be working with them very closely. And they also are in charge of the housing project. We build a house, for those who don't know, build a house each year using the labor of students, and it's a high school program, and we've been doing it for the last 37 years. 37 years. And that wraps it up. I do want to mention real quickly, for those who don't know, the Rotaract is for folks who are 17 to 30 years of age. It's its own club. It would be sponsored by our club. It's its own club, and it would be ultimately a feeder into us. But they would have their own projects, and then they would help us with our projects. It is something, again, with the new generations, which is the Fifth Avenue of service that Rotary International has gotten going. It's where Rotary sees a very large push. This does definitely separate us out from other service organizations who are still having lots of problems with membership and getting things going for themselves. We are actually one of the very few service organizations that is continuing to expand, and part of it is we've got, frankly, I think it's 3,500 Rotaract clubs now in the world, and we've got 2 of them in the Puget Sound area right now, and it won't only be just with Edmonds Community College, it will be other folks also. We have been advised that doing it right through Edmonds Community College wouldn't work.